Hey, thanks for joining me. I'm going to use these two colors, Calm Oasis and Singapore Your Heart Out. I'll find links for you as I do this gel polish service. So she's all prepped and ready. Didn't want to waste your whole day with all of it. I am going to have you watch me do a little bit of priming though. So I focus on the new growth. She already has had gel polish on, but there's something I do here that a lot of artists say to me they don't do. They don't pull the primer over the entire surface of the nail. You don't have to, but it's going to help a couple things. One, it enhances your adhesion, and two, it allows a little bit of slip as you're pulling the gel polish base over this nail that we're essentially filling with gel polish. There's just a thin layer of existing gel polish that has grown out, but it will help your game a little bit. So that's Protein Bond from Young Nails. I'll have a link below to Young Nails. Now I'm going to use Luminary Clarity. This is the clear base. This works very different than their color bases. This one works more like a standard gel polish base, but it's a little thicker. So let me walk you through kind of what I do here. First thing to note is I put the bulk of the product in that new space that's being filled, and then I kind of squeegee down and let it self-level. Another thing to notice is I'm not pressing it into the nail plate. I'm floating over down the side, and then I'm gonna gently pull it and check from the side. I'm watching from the side and I'm watching it level to see if it gives me my strength where I need it a little bit, my apex, if I need to add any like gel anywhere. And then you can always flip it upside down if it's starting to move towards the cuticles and you still want to play with it a little more. Like for example here, I'm just going to let it settle for a second, pull gel a little bit where it was divoting, let it settle and self-level into the lamp. You're going to notice I do one at a time. I'm just doing this so I don't have flooding issues because this is a longer nail, which means more product is going down, which means like as I look from the side here, I'm pulling an apex, I'm tipping it back, I'm making sure there's some structure to it to hold the length, and I don't want it to sit forever and flood into the cuticles. So that's why I do that. I have sped this up a tiny bit because I wanted to put it on my Instagram and my YouTube, and I don't have a ton of space on my IGTV right now. It's growing. They're starting to give me more. So what you're not seeing is I do move a little slower down the nail. Right there, it kind of showed it. Because it needs some time to release from those bristles because it is a thicker product that's going to provide a little more structure for us. It takes a minute, see right there, to come down the bristles. You can't just hurry, brush. You've got to give it time to flow off of that brush onto the nail plate. I'll do 2 of them here real quick. Most I ever do at a time usually is 2, unless I'm on a short nail. A short nail I can do all four, and then thumbs, which brings me to the next thing. I do my thumbs separate because of the amount of significant base I give it. I don't want it tipping to the side while I work on another nail, and I also want it curing in the lamp flat, which means I hand the lamp to my client so their 4 fingers go underneath, kind of like a little claw, and their thumbs sit on top flat to cure. So here I pick it up and hand it to him, and she's holding it while I work on this other one, and then she'll pop it in as well. This just really helps with that bulbous edge that happens when people put their hand in the lamp and their thumb happens to twist more to the side than somebody else. I don't even take the chance. I just follow this rhythm with everybody so that nobody has any messed up product I need to file. Then I'm going to take her hand and put it all the way in the lamp to cure for a final cure to make sure everything got time. Okay, color going down. Go straight to color, leave the sticky layer, and I'm just going to trace the edges with the corner of my brush. And then you can take your corner of your brush and trace the upper edge on both sides, like that upper arch, and pull it down and make it real even. If you get it on the skin, wipe it off before you cure it. Something else I have learned, if you're using a lighter color that maybe needs a couple layers, give it a second to settle. So like that first one, it's settling and those brush marks are going to go away. It's going to self-level, and then I can cure it so it has a more even finish. So see, I'm letting it settle for a second. Now I'm going to cure those 2 while I jump to the other hand. This dancing back and forth actually doesn't lose you time because you're always working. You have one hand in the lamp, while you're working on the other hand, and then it's a quick switch. Now, I just use one lamp. I have friends, artists, people I've employed, people who've booth rented from me in my salon, all these things, who do 2 lamps, and I think it's great. There's nothing wrong with that. I personally like working on top of the lamp. What you're not seeing is my left hand is actually sitting on top of the lamp. I really like to be stabilized when I'm polishing tight to the cuticle. So it helps me feel a little more solid to get a better finish look. And so I like to work on top of the lamp. That's just like a personal preference. There's nothing you have to do. You can do 2 lamps. You can set your lamp to the side. I just like it. I just enjoy it. It makes me feel in control. And apparently I'm a control freak. No, you have to be. If you're going to get these clean lines, you have to be solid. You cannot be floating. My other arm is solid on the table, meaning my forearm of my right arm is leaning on the edge of the table. So it's also stabilized. Let it settle and then cure. Now, these are her natural nails. She's only had gel polish services. I will say we have switched her over the recent few months to more of an almond shape versus a square shape for more durability. That's something people don't realize. When you take away those corners, if you're really busy, she's a hairdresser. So you guys, these gel polish nails with this luminary hold up for her doing hair. And taking away those 2 corners and going to one point a little bit has given her a lot more structure. And then I also like to use luminary as my base. There's other bases you'll see I love, but I love this for more length because it is a gel polish that slightly acts like a hard gel, and I can build a little bit of an apex or strength zone, and they can wear them long. Now, this is just my personal reasoning preference. Now, if you check out Luminary, you're going to see they have a lot of really cool colored bases, and I'll do some videos on that as well. You apply them differently than a typical base like I just showed here, that even was different here. Here I had to slow you guys down. I had to help you realize you got to float on top of it, all these things. But Luminary is a pretty cool product that I have recently kind of fallen in love with. And Clarity is probably my most favorite for those who are changing colors back and forth. Now I'm doing my second coat here. I'm letting it settle before I pop it in the light again, because you want to pull, make sure you don't have any, like, you know, that bubble by the cuticle from putting product up there. If you're not giving it a second to settle and to pull that product where you need it, you're going to have a bubble at the cuticle, and that's not sleek. That's not pretty. So give it a minute. See, I'm brushing a little more. The product's already down. That's me evening out that. Any area that needs it, evening out the color. Settle. Check your cuticles. You guys, that happens to everybody. I leave those things in my videos because I want you to see. You might get it on the skin. Just get it off before you put it in the light to cure. That's most important. I'm going to get some questions about the light I'm using. I love this lamp. I will link it below if you're on YouTube. On Instagram, it's always linked in my Instagram bio link. I know there's a lot of debate over using the lamp that's made with the product line, and I will openly say I have more to research on that. But this lamp cures all 10 brands that I use in my salon every day. And I like it. And I love that it has a gradual cure function. That is something with Luminary I have to use, because anytime you use something that's a little thicker product, you have more molecules moving to create structure. You have more friction created. Therefore, you have more heat created. And you are going to minimize that heat they feel if you use a lamp that has a low curing function. So it slowly amps up. I still personally feel it a little bit. My cute mom, who's super sensitive, doesn't feel it at all. So go figure. Everybody's a little bit different. I love this second coat going down to this Calm Oasis. And we did decide to use that Singapore Your Heart Out to do just a little bit of color blocking art. So I will show you guys that. But look how pretty this is settling. And now you're going, wait a second, Hill, you're doing 4 at a time. Totally. I'm not so worried about her edges now. I already got close to her edges. I'm putting that even second coat on there. And if I feel like it's moving, I always check her pointer because that's the one I do first. If I feel like it's moving, I pop her in the lamp. But if it's not, I'll do all 4 to save myself time once I've already done that tight polish layer the first round. So those 4 are going to go in. The thumbs already got it. Okay, these are looking good. We're going to do some art. You can do the bulk of your art when you are doing a bigger area with your brush from your bottle, like this, that color blocking. And then I'm going to put a little bit on my thumb and get my art brush out. Let me find it. Run the product through your brush so you're not like a bulbous ball on the end. Then I fine tune my art. I'm going to straighten this line how I want it. Then I'm going to go on the side because I obviously couldn't get super close with that brush on the side. I'm going to make that point more exact where it meets the edge and pull the product down the edge. And then you'll see me kind of pull it through the whole thing. I'm just making sure it's even. I'm wanting to make sure that that product looks even in one coat. You could do two, but this way, if I let it settle for a second, it's even one coat coverage just because I distributed the product more evenly with my little art brush. Looks good. Let's cure it. We're going to mimic it over here. We're trying to decide which finger to do it on. And she decided pinky, which one of my past students used to call party pinky, and it had stuck. So we call, when we do art on the pinky, a party pinky, which I think is so cute. And I love my old student, Natalie, who said that for the first time. It's just always stuck with me over the years. So grateful for the people who've been in my life, who've enhanced it and left these little fun treats with me, little fun sayings. So same thing over here. I'm sharpening up the lines. I am being patient with my product. If you are using gel polish like this, it's just gel polish, not art gel, you might have to do a second layer. I'm pulling it evenly and letting it settle, waiting for it to settle, make sure it's even, and then I won't have to do a second layer. It's very different working with gel polish versus art gel versus normal polish. Normal polish is a whole different beast, you guys. So keep that in mind if you're frustrated with normal polish and you've done killer great gel polish or vice versa. They're different things. So be patient with yourself and practice. Okay, this is my favorite top coat. It is stain resistant and very shiny, and I love it. It's Luxa Shine, and I will also have the link in my Instagram bio to Luxa, or I will put it below if you're joining on YouTube in the description. I have searched for years. I have found very shiny top coats I love from very big brands, but then they stain. And I can't have that. I can't be repairing or fixing stained nail tips on clients. They don't have time to come back in, and I don't have time for them to come back in. So I love this top coat because it even resists color for my hairstylists. And if they get a tiny bit extra on there, they can wipe off with alcohol and it will come off. It is awesome. It also cures in 30 seconds LED. So make sure you're checking your bottles of gel polish versus your lamps you're using. If it has an LED cure, it's usually 30 seconds, UVs 2 minutes, and then check what your lamp is so that you get full good cures on your products. With the Luminary base, it's a minute in LED or 2 minute UV. With my colors, it's 30 seconds in LED, 2 minute UV, and my top coat, same, 30 second LED, 2 minute UV. I only use a combo lamp that cures in the 30 second LED. And so I'm letting, by the way, notice what I'm doing here. I'm tipping the nail back and forth and letting it settle before I put it in. Watch your line of light. Your line of light is how it reflects. So if there's big breaks in the line of light, your surface isn't even. And you can even take this top coat and float it a little bit where you may have a little hill next to a little valley of product. But you have to start from the very beginning, very smooth transition. Did you see that cue I did there? I tapped the light so that my client knows to slide their hand in there. Okay, this is our finished product before we do any like oil at the end, but I'm really digging this. You can see she's a little dry around. That's normal. We did exfoliate some skin around that have some calluses. So now they're ready for some oil and then buffing out and rubbing in, and we're all set. Hey, thanks for joining me today.